It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of November 9th, 2001. Only 3 movies to look at this time around, not like the 5 we've had the last couple of weeks, but some notable films here. And we're going to start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, of course, and that is the Farrelly Brothers' latest film, Shallow Hal.
Every man has a dream. Every man has a fantasy. Every man has an image of the perfect woman.
When are you going to get it?
What are you talking about? It never occurred to you that picking girls solely on their looks may not be the best way to go about it?
But one man is about to get a whole new perspective.
Al Larson, I'm going to do you a great favor.
Really?
From this moment on, whenever you meet someone in the future, you're only going to see the inner beauty.
What are you doing? I am rescuing you. From what? From what?
This fall,
I gave them the ability to see the inner beauty of their heart, their soul.
He hypnotized you. You're saying that all the pretty girls I've met lately aren't really pretty.
Hal Larson is dating a vision only he can see.
Oh, there she is. There's Rosemary.
Where?
Right there. Is she behind the rhino?
20th Century Fox presents
Haven't you ever heard the phrase that beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
Have you heard the song Who Let the Dogs Out?
Gwyneth Paltrow,
Oh,
Jack Black,
Are you okay?
brain freeze.
Jason Alexander,
I don't want anything to do with you, you little warthog.
You had me at Get Lost.
in a comedy of gigantic proportions.
What is You want to see a splash? I'm going to show you a splash. Ready?
Hey, Billy, stay over near the ladder.
Shallow Hal.
Billy? Billy?
Daddy! Daddy!
I mean, that kid probably could have gotten a whole lot worse, but I digress. So, Shallow Hal, you can see in the trailer there, you have Jack Black as a guy who falls in love with a woman who is actually 300 pounds after being hypnotized into only seeing a person's inner beauty. And, surprisingly, this is probably the most heartwarming film the Farrelly Brothers have done up to this point, and probably since then. I mean, it's a movie that actually is kind of heartwarming, but it still has that Farrelly Brothers edge, you know. It still has that aspects of something like There's Something About Mary or Me, Myself, and Irene, but it's a PG-13 movie, and it's a really good PG-13 movie. I think this movie gets unfairly criticized because some people don't think the comedy works as well. Some people think it's a little bit too offensive to, obese women in particular, but I thought the movie kind of was making fun of the fact that, this guy you have Tony Robbins, who I like that he's making fun of himself in this movie, basically saying, "Hey, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make you realize the inner beauty in people, and you're going to see it with these people. You got a really good chemistry between Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, you really do buy that these two do have a connection, and you really do believe they do like each other, even though Jack Black is really not seeing the actual person in real life. But that's kind of what I really like about the movie overall. I like the fact that the movie basically is doing this idea that, okay, let's have a story where you have somebody who's going to be given this gift to basically say, hey, here's the inner beauty. You're going to see the inner beauty, even though you're not going to see the outer beauty of it, and over time, you're going to realize that, hey, you two actually do have a good connection with one another. And it actually does work very well here. And if there's one thing I will say against the movie, it's really the character of Jason Alexander's character, Mauricio, who, I mean, you see it in the trailer there. Like, you don't expect George Costanza to be doing that now in 2001. I mean, I know it's only been 3 years up to this point since Seinfeld ended, but then again, that seems like a character that seemed like it was really, really hard, to get to play that role. In fact, they tried to get Gary Shaley to play that role. Even he would have not been well written for that character. I felt like you had to go for a younger guy to play that role. Maybe not too young, but certainly you couldn't go somebody with older tendencies like Gary Shandling or Jason Alexander. No matter how great they are as comedians, I felt like that was going to be a tough character to cast overall in this film. And yeah, it does kind of go into predictable rom-com territory. You're going to have that moment where the liar gets revealed, and he has to come to this, and they're going to break up for a little bit, then they'll reconcile again, they'll go back to the way they were, and it's there, but it's not as bad as it is in most romantic comedies. It's actually done pretty well in this movie, as well as everything else here. The humor is very well done. Like, it's a very heartfelt storyline, but it also feels like what you get from a Farrelly Brothers movie, and I really liked it a lot. I think it's a much better movie than people give it credit for. I think it's a good showcase for Jack Black to show that, hey, this guy actually's got some talent to him. I really like this movie a lot. I think it's a very well-made film. It's got some flaws to it, but it's not as bad as I think people make it out to be. I think it is a very funny film, and I really do like it a lot. I think it is a very strong film. I highly recommend it. Shallow Hal. So, with that said, let's move on to David Mamet's new film with Gene Hackman and Danny DeVito, and that is Heist.
What made you a criminal? What made you a criminal?
Nothing made me a criminal. I am a criminal.
Broke his tie and cops are looking for him. I gotta get out of town. I gotta go.
You've just become more trouble than you're worth. I hate to do anything as dramatic as count to 3, but 1, 2, 3.
Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, in a film by David Mamet.
He's so cool when he goes to bed, sheep count him.
Heist, rated R, starts Friday.
So you have Gene Hackman playing a career jewel thief who finds himself at tense odds with his longtime partner, played by Danny DeVito, a crime boss who sends his nephew to keep watch. And you see Delroy Lindo in here, as well as Sam Rockwell. And it's very interesting that this movie is probably the most successful movie to come out of Franchise Pictures outside of the whole 9 yards movies. But then again, it's David Mamet, and David Mamet is a solid writer and director, and not even a guy like him can be reduced to making such a terrible movie under a company as terrible as Franchise Pictures. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen with him. And he makes a really solid movie out of it. I mean, it's a very slick, very stylish heist movie. And it's interesting to see these people that I like playing very different roles. Gene Hackman's very good in this role. I mean, he's clearly an older guy, but he can make this. He can still be very threatening when he needs to be. Danny DeVito can surprisingly work very well as the kind of the bad guy in this. Delroy Lindo's very good in this. So Sam Rockwell. It's a really, really good film, and I think it was mostly because Franchise Pictures themselves did not create it. They literally said that, David, you're gonna have creative freedom throughout the production. We know you, and we're we're not gonna force you to do what we've done with our terrible movies. We're just gonna let you do you, man. Like, they literally gave him the keys to do whatever he wanted to do with it. And sure enough, the movie works because of it. Because you don't have Franchise Pictures getting involved. You don't have them trying to create a new franchise out of something absolutely horrible. And, just let the guy do what he does best. And lo and behold, he makes a really solid, very slick, very intelligent crime thriller. And a really good one at best. It's a very good film. I highly recommend it. It's one that I know a lot of people didn't go see when it came out. But it has gone on to have a major following over the years. And, I highly recommend checking it out. If you like Gene Hackman, if you like Danny DeVito, if you like really good David Mamet style work, this definitely is up your alley. This is definitely one of David Mamet's stronger, underrated gems. Definitely check this one out, Heist. So let's move on to our last film that we have here, and that is Life as a House.
Critics are saying Life as a House connects to its audience more honestly than any other movie this year. Rich with natural comedy, Kevin Kline gives one of his most deeply felt performances in the film the New York Times says is generating the kind of buzz not seen since American Beauty.
Change can be so constant. You don't even feel the difference until there is one. It happened to me.
Life as a House, rated R, starts Friday.
Awards bait. I should probably just set my review there. Awards bait. I mean, that's literally what this movie is, but I'll talk more about this. You have a story with Kevin Kline as a man who is anxious to repair his relationship with his ex-wife, played by Kristen Scott Thomas, and his teenage son, played by Hayden Christensen, after he's diagnosed with terminal cancer. This is directed by Irwin Winkler, who has, of course, directed several films that we've talked about on here: Guilty by Suspicion, Night in the City, The Net, At First Sight. He also produced a lot of classic movies like the Rocky films. But, yeah, this movie clearly is a film that is just Oscar bait. I mean, it's a movie that's trying to give Kevin Kline another Academy Award. I keep saying almost Kevin Costner. Like, no, this feels like a film that is clearly going for awards bait. Even though there are good performances, Kevin Kline's always going to give a great performance. I mean, he's Kevin Kline. Hayden Christensen, you know, as bad as he was about to be with Anakin Skywalker with Attack of the Clones and moving forward from that, he shows that he can be a really good actor in this movie. He's very good as the teenage son. Jenna Malone, this is one of her early film roles as well. Mary Steenburgen, it's Mary Steenburgen. I mean, come on. And Kristen Scott Thomas is a great actor. There's a lot of great actors all over this movie, and they're the things that carry the movie overall and make it somewhat watchable. But everything else about it, from the story to the way the characters are written, I mean, they're not well-written characters, but they work because the performances carry the load of the film. But the story, it's a movie that's clearly going for your heart, tugging at your heartstrings, and hopefully to grab some awards come February. And it just didn't work for me. It's a movie that's just kind of like, as much as I can praise the performances all I want to, I can't get past the fact that it's another one of those melodramatic awards bait movies where nobody's really trying and they're just saying, hey, give us awards for this. And it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. Let down for sure. Life is a House. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and when we meet next time, we'll take a look at 3 more movies, including the beginning of Harry Potter's journey to the big screen. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone comes out next weekend. We also have 2 movies that decided to go up against Harry Potter and did not do so well. We have The Wash, and then we have Steve Martin in the drama Novocaine. So we'll take a look at 3 of those movies next time. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.